Starwolf, little messy haired ASMR. That's messy hair ASMR. Not intentional, just happens to be that way. I need to be able to pause this thing. I hope I can. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Nope. I'll have to find out how. Let's see. There's some more controls here. Nope. Flip. Mute. Let's try flip. Okay, there's a flip. Oh, guess who's meowing at the door? Is that you, Romeo? All right, let's see. There's my crazy little wizard table. All right, and a few other things. This place is just full of junk, ain't it? But some of it's fun junk. Mickey Mouse's boat from the cartoon a long time ago. All right, there's my ex-wife. My wife that passed away. She's not really my ex-wife. I don't know why I say that. Of course, Batman and Starwolf. This is my wife's angel collection. No reason to take that down. A couple of her things I moved from her bedroom up to here. And a Christmas wreath. I need to pause it. Okay, that's right. We're letting Romeo in. Hello, Romeo. Junior, what are you doing? You coming in too? Come on, Junior. Here's Romeo. Come on, Junior. You come in too. Come on, that a boy. All right. Yo, did you little meerkat? Okay, I know you want to be the star of the show. Come on. Come on, little star. Oh, you can go that way. You can run to the door so you can go around and do it again, right? Do your trick. That says you turn the back around. As y'all have probably seen before, that's Romeo's trick. Going from the back door, running around to the front, meowing at the front, Daddy, let me in. As soon as we let her in, of course, that's what she does, runs right back to the back door to do it again. Because cats love tricks, don't they? They all have their little tricks. All right, back to seeing if we can pause this. Let's see, what's this? Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Well, I really just wanted to pause it. Okay, we'll cancel it. You know what? We'll just keep her going. We'll just keep her going. Let's see if I have a stand there. Yep. Might have to pull that forward a little bit. I didn't even set the microphone up. You know what? I'm not even going to bother. Because it's been a while since I've done a good little ASMR stream, which stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And I owe you all that. And I'm sorry that it's taken me a while to post the video again for a while. Just like everybody else, and especially this time of year, I've been really busy. And I'm trying to get, I have to get a new computer for reasons I won't even go into. The other three I had broke one way or another. And, well, the last one, it turned sideways. And that's an easy fix usually. You just Alt, Control, and then you hit one of the arrow buttons and you can keep turning it around all day long and stop it wherever you want. It's not a hard fix. I know a little about computers. I don't know a lot about them, but when I first started learning about computers, we had this thing called computer languages. And y'all don't even have to use them at all now, but I had a programming class up in New Hampshire College, and we had to learn these languages. One was called BASIC, BASIC, and it was all zeros and ones, and writing these programs, mostly like flow charts were the easiest part. If this, the go-to symbol, this. If this, then you have two or three other choices, and from each one of them, if this, go to this, and then that goes to a couple other choices. The second one, same thing. Third one, same thing. And these can get really involved into matrices, what they call matrices. And it is related to the movie Matrix because it's the same basic principle. But anyway, that's what computer classes were like back in 1980 and when I was in college. And, there was another one called Fortran. That was about numbers. That was like accountants, like the people who might want to be accountants and stuff learn that, and mathematicians. And and there was a few others, a bunch of others. Anyway, nothing like today, nothing like today. But they were computer programming classes, and so I know a little bit about computers, but mostly from starting to learn in the 1980s. I pledged to my fraternity in 1981. That was my second year of college. So anyway, yeah, I guess we consider kind of old, but still alive. So like that other guy says on YouTube, that old successful guy. Yeah, he's successful because he paid for it. I could pay for all these promotions and get millions of views and stuff like that and be really successful just like him too. But I'm not into just paying for it. You know what I mean? For promotions, for campaign promotions, on YouTube. I want, I'm more, I've been kind of an artist, a musician, play the guitar, draw, paint, and all that, and all my life. And it's the same with this, making videos and for YouTube. It's art. It's artistic. I mean, I'm not saying I don't care about the money. Sure, I love money. Everyone needs money, but I don't want to pay YouTube lots of money to, like starting off with hundreds of dollars for them to promote my videos their way and have me get, 1.5 million views on one video. Where's the fun in that, man? I mean, that's cheating as far as I'm concerned. Anyone can do that. It's like they have these classes that you pay and they give you an idea what to do your videos about, what content. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with content. I want to make YouTube videos. What? Well, you're in the wrong business, man, but they do it, they have it. So, okay, you pay YouTube and they'll tell you what content to do. They'll tell you what to say. They'll tell you what to buy. They'll tell you what, everything. They'll do it all for you. And then, yeah, you're a YouTube star. You bought it, you paid for it. Anyway, I'm on a rant right now, right? It just seems like it's sort of cheating to me, So when I didn't know anything about it, which was a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, all of a sudden they're charging me hundreds of dollars because they say, oh, well, we're promoting this video of yours where you have a campaign, advertising campaign. It's like, I don't know anything about that, and I'm sorry if I pressed the wrong buttons or something like that. Yeah, I kind of remember being offered that, do you want us to promote your video? Sure, why not? I didn't know it meant, okay, now you're in a contract and you're going to owe us hundreds of dollars. And they didn't say anything about, well, there's this little sliding thing on the YouTube Studio where if you go to the right place on YouTube Studio, which I didn't even know anything about at the time, I'd never even been on YouTube Studio. I'd never even seen YouTube on my regular computer, just on my TV. So anyway, they're charging me hundreds and hundreds of dollars for this one video. Like, what? No, no, no. I didn't want I think I clicked yes. Okay, go ahead. I would like you to promote my video. I didn't know it meant I was entering some kind of contract to start owing hundreds of dollars for YouTube to promote my video. And luckily it was just one video. So they say I owe them about $350 right now because it got 450 views. Well, I've got 1,500 views on a bunch of mine already without any YouTube campaign promotion, and that to me, that's good, because that's me. Just paying them to do it, anyway, you probably understand what I'm talking about. But so that was a rant that I did not expect to do. And this is some ASMR that I promised you that I sure haven't done in a long time. And let's see if I can do it. Last night I was trying to get to sleep, and I was listening to, the different excellent ladies that do the different ASMR and everything, and from all over the world, and Kel in Australia, and all the different ones. And it was just, I mean, these ladies are great, but it was just too much tapping and pounding and clicking and clacking, I had to keep changing it. Finally, I ended up just putting on Rain and Train. That's what I used to do. That's how I found out. Like even before my wife died, I had a hard time sleeping a lot of times because she would take her sleeping pill and she'd be out, out like a light for 7, 8, 9 hours straight. And you couldn't wake her up when she's out unconscious from taking her sleeping medication that she got prescription medication from the doctor. And I had it too, but I would bite off a little bit of it sometimes, to help make me a little bit drowsy, but I'd never take the whole thing. And I had this fear that, it was me, the family. You never know what grandkids or great grandkids are going to be over, usually not a lot. Usually not. They usually didn't sleep over, but we always wanted them to. But anyway, of course, we had the cats and the dog. And so when she's sleeping, I always figured, well, what's going to happen if there's someone trying to break in or climb through the window or break down the door, or if there's a fire or a flood or something? I mean, we did have floods there, sometimes not at our house, but real close around us, our hockey team is named the Hurricanes. We do have a lot of hurricanes. We usually have pretty good warning about hurricanes. But anyway, besides that, I would just, if anything happened, who's going to know? Well, so I felt like I had to stay awake. I didn't really feel like I had to stay awake, but inside me, myself, subconscious, I think I felt like I needed to be sort of on a little bit of alert just in case, to take care of the family in case anything happened or was happening. So I had a hard time sleeping even before she passed away. And what I did, this is how YouTube, all I ever used YouTube for was the same thing everyone usually did at first, learn how to fix something on the car, replace something on the car, because these new car motors aren't like they used to be. As you all know by now, if you ever tried to work on your own new vehicle nowadays. And, but so that's what YouTube was for. If you want to build something, or you're building something, or there's some process that you're not 100% positive about, or maybe you are, but you just want to see how a bunch of other guys are doing it, compare their way to your way. They might have a little better way than you. So that's why you looked on YouTube, to learn things and see if you're doing them right. And, plumbing, mechanical things, building, I already know quite a bit about framing houses and stuff like that, but there's always stuff I wouldn't mind seeing that way the other guys are doing it too. So that's what I always used YouTube for, and probably most of y'all too, in the olden days. Anyway, so a little while ago, so then I noticed, well, they do have things to help calm me down and make you be able to sleep a little easier, like rain. Like I like the sound of rain to help me sleep. And so I realized that you can bring those up on YouTube, and there's about 150,000 people putting rain videos on YouTube, and I like the rain with thunder and lightning, and not to go straight to dark screen. I don't need that. I like it so I can see the lightning strikes, and actually I like it a little dark, but I like to be able to see the rain coming down. And then I realized, you can do rain from being on a train, rain on the train. So it's like, and they got a whole bunch of these, y'all probably know. It's like you're on the train and in the train sleeper car, and you can see the rain through the window and thunder and lightning strikes. So I like that, because where I used to live, a train used to go by just about every night around midnight. And at first I couldn't sleep with it. And then I couldn't sleep without it. I got so used to that train going by on the tracks, and it went by for about an hour. It seemed like 12 to 1:30, right about that time in the middle of the night. So, and then I realized I can bring that up on YouTube, that same sound with rain at the same time, because that's when I liked it the best. So I was watching them, and I didn't know anything about ASMR. I never heard of it, autonomous sensory meridian response. And all of a sudden I seen, Kelly Kell, Simply Kell from Australia. I was, what's this? So I put it on, and she's pretty good. It's like, huh, she's doing some pretty good relaxation techniques here. And then from clicking it on that, there were lots of others to, choose from that do sort of the same thing. This one lady, I don't think she'd mind me saying her name, and in this context, since I'm just going to give her praise, is Sarah Lavender. She's been doing it for years and years and years, and she's really fantastic too. She does all kinds of different ones. There's another one called Tessa down in Louisiana. She's fantastic. She's actually our neighbor down there, but she doesn't know it, because anyway, my mom lives in Alabama. Real close. The rest of my mom's family down there are from Louisiana too. So down the Gulf Coast. So anyway, but Tessa down there, she's fantastic. What does she call herself? Slightly sleepy all the time, something like that. Slightly sleepy. If you put that in, then you can bring her up. She's really good. And a bunch of these women that are really good, I'm sure there's men that do it too, but if it comes between a woman's voice and a man's voice, especially when they're doing that whispering, that low talking, I prefer a woman's voice, like I think most men, if it's going to be some close up kind of sort of intimate type of whispering, like I said, low talking or something like that, of course, if it's going to be like whispering in my ear type of thing, I might prefer a woman than a man. No offense to the men that prefer a man doing it. That's y'all do whatever you want, like whatever you want, of course. Anyway, so, well, there is one thing I kind of like to talk about, and that is, it's sort of a little bit of a political thing, but it's a historical thing. And it's bothered me a little bit. And I got all kinds of my notes about it up there, but I don't need my notes because I remember. And anyone that's about my age, anyone that lived through this knows exactly what I'm talking about because they remember it too. Um, August 8th, 1990. If you were in the service on August 8th, 1990, if you were in the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, or the Coast Guard, even, then you remember what that date, August 8th, 1990, means. See, oil was discovered a bit earlier, quite a while before that, but it was getting pretty well known that Iran had a lot of oil. Now, we had a little dispute with Iran a couple times before that. Yeah, I wouldn't say they were exactly our allies before August 8th, 1990, but but we still kept in good terms with them. Bush was the president, but before Bush was president, this was the older Bush, the Bush dad, but before he was president, you know, we were still on good terms with them because they had all that oil. And America is not going to just ignore a country that is just loaded with oil resources. I mean, we get a lot of our own oil over here, you know, but they got tons of it over there. Why not be their friend too? Which is good reasoning. Anyway, on August 8th, 1990, Iran was invaded by their neighbor country, Iraq. Now, people mix those two up. Iraq rolled their tanks in and they flew their F 15s. I don't know if they had F 16s then, but this is, like I said, 1990. And they invaded Iran, obviously, because they wanted control over the oil, like everyone else in the world did, including America. But we wanted to do it by being their friends and being their allies, which we did, and we really were too. This is Iran, okay? And so, like I said, we had a little bit of this, not altercations, a little bit of discrepancy with them a little bit before that. They took some American hostages. Yeah, that was 10 years before what I'm talking about. But they let that was when Clinton was president. They let those hostages all go. Clinton helped negotiate it. None were harmed, none were killed. So, that was over. We took care of that. But then we became friends with them, like I said, because it only makes sense because we had all this oil and they got all that oil and they wanted to be our friends now. Yeah, they took the hostages, they let them go. That was 10 years before that. So let's just have that cleared up. So, anyway, when Iraq invaded Iran, America under George Bush, he sent every bit of the military over there, like Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, Marines, helicopters, planes, ships. We had ships outside, and that was called the first Gulf War, the very first Gulf War, August 8th, 1990. And you know what else it was called? Operation Desert Storm. Now, I know a lot of you, especially younger people, and no offense to younger people, because I love the younger people today. They are so smart. They know so much. They know so much stuff about the computer and about making money on YouTube and all this stuff, all this technical stuff. And, it just amazes me. It blows me away. I have so much respect for them and love for them anyway, because I love kids anyway. And when I say kids, I'm talking about in their 20s and 30s, but all kids of all ages, I love. Most people my age do. And so, I got total amount of respect for you all out there, any of you that are listening. But this is some history that you all didn't necessarily live through, unless you were an adult on August 8th, 1990. And I was 30 years old. And I remember I was working at this production plant up in New Hampshire. And it's like and we were busy all the time. that everyone had to work hard all the time in order for the company to keep making profit and keep making money. So you didn't just shut down operations. You didn't just stop the work, you know. But that day it did, because all of a sudden the whole plant was quiet, you know, and like the humming of people talking, you know, but the machines weren't all going like usual. And so we were called into one of the big rooms and said, and the TVs were on, the big TV was on. And so the boss, we'll just call him, said, you know, Bush just sent, for one thing, Iraq just invaded Iran, and half of us didn't know the difference between Iraq and Iran anyway, because they're right next to each other and they sound the same. But and they said, and we just want to let you know we are at war. America's at war with Iraq as of right now. And Bush has sent every branch of the armed forces over there, and we did. And they made a couple movies of it too. They made a pretty good one with Meg Ryan. She's a helicopter commander, and her helicopter goes down. I can't think of the name of the movie, but that's Desert Storm. And so we had tons of choppers over there. And like I was starting to say, we had ships over there with nuclear, you know, warheads that we could fire right from the ship and hit any city in the whole world right from where our ships were stationed in the Gulf. You know, we could. I don't want to say anything. I guess it's okay to say this. We could wipe out the Kremlin right from there just by pressing a button if we wanted to. So anyway, I said it there. And so, like I said, we had the Navy out there. Some of the ships, like my friend, was on a medical ship out there. But we all knew people in the service that were out there, you know, either in the Marines. You know, the Marines are always the first infantry sent in, you know, tough guys. And they had the Black Hawk. I believe the Marines had the Black Hawk choppers. And so we had a ton of them out there. And we were shooting these Patriot missiles at Iraq. And Iraq was shooting these things back at us called Scud missiles. Anyway, what I'm getting at is America sent the whole force of America, the American nation, United States of America, to defend Iran. And we did. It was like a 7-day war, they called it. This was the first Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm. And then it turned into different things as the years went by. Operation Desert Shield, where we kept protecting them. You know, so Iran has been our ally since August 8th, 1990. And Trump knows that, and everyone else that's our age knows that. So he just nuclear bombed our allies the other day. And there's a bunch of reasons why he would have done that, but it's got nothing to do with security and them making too many nuclear bombs, I'll tell you that. It's got a lot more to do with Netanyahu, who is at war with Iran, giving Trump money to put in his pocket and his personal bank account to bomb our own allies, Iran, for Netanyahu, for Netanyahu's money in Trump's personal bank account. Because as you know, Trump, everything in America is Trump's personal stuff, the Army, the Marine, all the armed forces. I just don't understand why the generals didn't just tell him no. You know, we're not going to nuclear bomb our allies, so you can put money in your pocket, and we're not stupid, and we know that's what you're doing and why you're doing it. But, so like I said, anyone who was in the service back then knows this, you know, but younger people wouldn't know this because it's not really something, I don't know if it's taught in history classes in school. I was already out of school on August 8th, 1990, when it all began. But then that war went on for years and years and years and years, being called different things and moving into different places like Afghanistan, you know, and everything. But Anyway, yeah, Iran's been our ally since then, and Trump knows it. And so, and then after he nuclear bombed them, he said, "Well, we never liked Iran. You know, Iran's never been our friends. We never been friends with them." He knows damn well we've been allies with them since August 1st, 1990. I mean, August 8th. I don't know why I keep saying August 1st. But so y'all can look that up. You know, that's a fact that a lot of people in America should know. That was a bold-faced, blatant lie he told for 2 weeks after that on TV. And every time it's like, what a liar. I guess it's blatant lies to people in the service like us that were there, that lost American soldier friends that were fighting over there, you know, because a lot of Americans were killed, even though we won the war in 7 days. You know, we beat Iraq, we beat their butts, we beat their butts back, you know, yeah, because of the mighty force of all the American armed forces. But a bunch of Americans did get killed, you know, in doing that, and then being our allies, you know, and defending our allies, our Iranian allies, you know, sort of oil buddies, but, you know, whatever. And so I was meaning to make a video about that. I guess this is good enough. I guess this counts for that. So I didn't mean to make this political. The last couple times I did make a couple sort of political videos, they wouldn't run them. They wouldn't even. I uploaded them, and they, for some reason or another, they couldn't play them, you know, and that was the reason, because it was YouTube didn't want to get involved with something that political. And anyway, so let's just put that on the back burner for now. I lay all this heavy crap on it. I'm sorry. Anyway, and now for the relaxation part, a little STARWOLF ASMR without all the clinking and clacking and ticking and tapping. You know, just a little, hopefully, relaxation that I'm going to do for a while, so you can put it on and maybe just fast forward it to this part if you're trying to get to sleep or something. And here it is. Let's see, I'll put this on something cool first. Let's turn it around. Turn it around this way. And we'll aim it down here. We'll aim it down my little table down there. See, and this is, okay, Romeo, I know you want to go back out the back door so you can run around the front again. Okay, so again, we got autonomic sensory meridian response. STARWOLF here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. And hopefully you can relax a little bit and listen to a little soothing relaxation sensation whenever I shut up. And here it goes. Romeo's helping. Hello, cool bacon guy. I see your message. Hello, Felix Dawson. Hello, Marilana Belcher. I hope I pronounced that right. I hope you have a wonderful day too. Elsa Charles, same to you. Not really letting me go any further right now, but if I'm missing any, I will give you a shout out somehow. Thank you for writing in comment. And by the way, anyone can comment. Anyone who hears this. You don't have to be, these are under the top fans, it says. And, you know I do have a lot of subscribers. Thank you all very much. And anyone, please do subscribe, you know, or just do the like so you can find me again. You know, that's what I do a lot of times. If I see someone refinishing something like a piece of furniture or something, and I want to be able to get back to that. You know, I don't have time to watch the whole thing maybe at the time. So I'll just hit the like and I'll stick it in a playlist. Now, those playlists aren't always that easy to make. A lot of times they'll give you the opportunity to start a new playlist, and sometimes they don't. About half the time they don't. And, you know, there's some way to do it, I guess, but I've followed the instructions and still not come up with them. But anyway, so just hit the like, you know, if you feel like it. And I'm just thrilled that, you know, any of y'all watch it, and I'm so glad you like the way this sounds. I'm going to keep doing it for a while so you can, maybe if any of you are trying to relax or fall asleep or meditate or something like that. I was just doing a little bit of Native American type humming that, you know, we did in Cherokee and different reservations. So I'm just going to keep doing this, and I might do a little bit of humming more for you if you all like it. I don't even know if anyone does. It's the first time I ever did it on YouTube. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything is just the way it's supposed to be. It's hard to believe. Sometimes it's impossible to believe. But it's good to believe it. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm back again. I'll do a little bit more of this and then I'll be signing off. Thank you all again for being here and being so beautiful and being such wonderful people, which you are. You're all so special. Especially give a shout out to the lonely people, the widowers like me. And, you know, there's a lot to do and a lot to see and still a lot to live for, but it's easy to not think of any of those things. You know, I do a lot of house cleaning, take care of the cats. Got 5 of them taken care of now. They're all in and out. I let the outside cats come in and eat and warm up sometimes now. And Polly Possum's got her youngin' with her sometimes. I hadn't showed the youngin' yet. I went out there. You may have seen one of my videos. I couldn't believe it. Instead of just Polly, which I thought we just had the big possum, there was a one about half her size. I said, that ain't Polly. That's too small to be Polly. And then there was Polly coming right up behind her. So there's 2 of them. So yeah, Polly's got to be that youngin's mother. They're just the cutest things. People are so afraid of them. They think they all got rabies or something. They don't. My wife and I were wildlife rehabilitators for a long time, and well, she was, and I helped her out a lot. So we both were. But man, she was fearless, you know. I seen her pick up snakes, snapping turtles, big ones, you know. And she'd name them all. Big snapping turtle, she named him Goliath. Got him out of the road a couple times when men were standing around and were afraid to touch it. I didn't want to. It was a snapping turtle that big. Can't even see my hands, you know. And she'd just go and pick it up. Oh, and they're like, they'll stretch that neck around. They'll be able to bite you. But she had them by the shell, you know, hold them out a little bit. And so Goliath ain't gonna hurt me, you know. Bring them over to where the water was, put them on the side of the water. We went out one time, and there was a snake, big snake, coming down on the, must have got on the roof of the house somehow, dropped down. It was coming down one of the bird feeders, and it was long, you know, and this one was greenish black stripes too. It was weird. I hadn't never seen one of these colors. Every now and then there's some weird colored snakes out there. And I was like, well, I guess I could get, you know, this particular stick and get them down with a stick. And before I could even get done, you know, saying all that, she's done reached up, grabbed it. She said, what, for this? You know, I'm like, honey, you know, what you going to do with them now? So I'm going to bring them around the woods and drop them let him go in the woods. And then she proceeded to do that, exactly that, you know. And boy, anyway, I just showed y'all a picture of her. I'll show you another picture. I'll show you a picture of her again. I'll show you a couple pictures of her so you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, there's one picture of her right there. That's when we were in Oregon. And we'll go around here. And my sister just sent me that for Christmas. A little skiing nutcracker dude. And this white Santa, you know, because she's afraid I might not have enough Christmas decorations. We got totes full of them, but I just hadn't opened them up this year. I did put a few things out on these lights, as you can see. You know, some decorations, a few little Christmas balls, and that's what the back wall looks like. That's where I was just sitting over there. And so I remember I picked this up for a thrift store one time, and boy, did she love it. Wishing you butterfly mornings and wildflower afternoons. And there's a mirror underneath it, and she just loved that so much. And she loved putting up her crosses and things, and this was one of her favorite ones. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 118:24. And I just got these things at Target the other day, and so I stuck them up there. A little Rudolph and some Oreo snowball candy cookies and Frosty, some other little Oreo package, and we got the Cars truck. And her owl was a painting I did back there, a little Bob Rossi in a little bit, but these are all some of the different places we went to. Went to go to Florida, where my dad lived. Tybee Island, she just loved that place. Tybee, Georgia. We never met anyone in Georgia that wasn't friendly and really nice. We used to always say that, man, you want to go somewhere where you see all nice people and friendly and really nice to you, and really makes that southern sweetness just as true as can be. That's Georgia, because you're never going to meet someone that isn't nice in Georgia. Everyone in Georgia is nice. And Newport, Oregon, well, everywhere we went, we met nice people. We lived in Asheville for a few years. It's a great place to live. It's changed quite a bit now, but that's just because there's a lot more people there. And I know I had more pictures of her. Oh. Anyway, there's one right there. We're in, she writes me on it. I didn't even notice she did that. That's Morehead City. We love that place. That's North Carolina. We lived down there for a while. We got some nice beaches, some nice places here in North Carolina. And this is when we were on that Oregon trip too. I pretended I was on a wave runner. She pretended she was surfing. They had these things where you could, pretend that. So that was pretty fun, But that's the fearless woman right there, man. Picking up snakes, snapping turtles, you name it. She wasn't afraid of nothing. All right, there we go. Put that back up there. And boy, that's a shame. But I just had the NASCAR Barbie right there. We got the McDonald's NASCAR Barbie. And there's a picture of my beautiful wife there again too. Can't see her that good, but anyway. And last night we just heard about Greg Biffle and his family. In that plane crash in Statesville, here in Statesville, North Carolina. And boy, what a shame! What a horrible thing that is. Such a good man, such a good family, great race car, NASCAR driver. But he and his wife and his two kids were in their own plane that crashed, and they did not survive it. Okay, so we'll say some prayers for that. Okay, y'all. Y'all take care. Love y'all. I hope you enjoyed some of this. And I got a couple other ideas I'm gonna put on. So see y'all later. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming by.